Hello and welcome to How Not to Play Magic the Gathering Arena, the channel where I play Magic badly. Today we are going to continue our series meant to step beginners from just signed up to Magic Arena through the initial tutorial on how to play Magic the Gathering. I do have a concepts video series, which I'll go ahead and link here above. But for now, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial, show you the different tutorial battles, how they play out, and maybe some little tips and pointers. Because believe it or not, I had a friend that I tried to do this to in person, and he lost the first tutorial battle. I have no idea how, but he managed it. So maybe if you need a little help, this is the video for you. So when you first log into the game and fire it up, it will punch you right into the battle. So let's go ahead and hit play and see where it takes us.
Wake up! Wake up! Whew, looks like you barely survived your last battle, but with some training, you'll become a force to be reckoned with. Let's get started. The elves of Llanowar are impressive warriors. Perhaps one of them will help us practice.
The forest belongs to the elves.
She seems like an enthusiastic teacher. You'll need to draw mana from lands to cast your spells.
So this is the first tutorial battle. This little floating ball of energy is Sparky, our guide through Magic the Gathering. We see here on the side, it's kind of telling us we need to play a land. So to do that, we pick up our land and just kind of put it somewhere out here on the battlefield, and then it will go down there.
You don't have enough lands to cast anything yet. So that's all you can do right now.
So we'll just kind of listen to Sparky, listen to our opponent, Kylia. We can see up here in the left. And
play another
do what
land
they
so
say.
you can summon a creature.
So lands are your basic resource in Magic the Gathering. So as you play lands, you can then tap them for mana to cast certain spells, as Sparky is showing us here. As you tap a land, it adds mana into your mana pool, and then that mana pool is depleted when you cast a spell like Shrine Keeper. So as we can see here, we can tap our... We can tap. Okay, it's not letting me tap my spells. But Arena will auto-tap your spells, so if you want to cast Shrine Keeper, we can see that we've got 2 white mana, so it will highlight over here our planes as we're holding this card. So it will tap these 2 planes to cast Shrine Keeper. If that's what you want to do, then you just drop it here onto the battlefield. It will automatically tap your lands.
You can summon creatures to fight
cast
for
your
you.
spells. A Shrine Keeper is a creature, is what Sparky was saying, and the creatures are what combat is around, I guess. I don't know. So every turn, your stuff untaps. So the lands that we used last turn do untap, and we can now tap them for mana again. We can play 1 new land each turn, as Arena is showing me over here. So we'll go ahead and do that. And we can cast more creatures. These creatures are what's going to attack our opponent.
Only one of your creatures is ready to attack.
Our second creature is affected what's known as Summoning Sickness. So a creature cannot attack the turn it is summoned. So we can only attack with the Shrine Keeper that we summoned last turn. So we will go ahead and click it to attack, and it will automatically attack our opponent. As we get deeper into the game, there are other things that you can attack, but for now we'll just go ahead and focus on our opponent, confirm that we are attacking with 1 creature, And now Sparky is showing us the numbers on the bottom are the power and toughness, respectively. The power is how much damage you can
You're
deal.
going to pay for that.
As you can see, we just dealt 2 damage to our opponent, taking them from 8 life down to 6. And our toughness is how much
Mouse
damage
over cards to
take.
inspect their details.
So a Shrine Keeper can take 2 damage before it dies. And just like our lands, our creatures untap every turn. We now have a Loxodon Linebreaker that we can cast with our 3 lands.
Keep
And so
pressing
now we
the
can
attack.
attack with 2 creatures. In some games, you can attack your creatures directly. In Magic, you can only attack your opponent. You cannot attack your opponent's creatures. So we'll say that I want these 2 creatures to attack. They will attack the opponent. My opponent then has the option to block. So this Treetop Warden can then step in front of one of my Shrine Keepers in order to block the attack. As we see, he is
You've been
doing
blocked.
that. And so then the power and toughness will be dealt to the creatures instead, and they will attack each other at the same time. So Shrine Keeper will deal 2 damage to the Treetop Warden, which will kill it because it is reducing its toughness to 0. Treetop Warden will do the same to the Shrine Keeper, and so both of these creatures will die and be removed from the battlefield.
Ah! Admirable.
The Shrine Keeper
Pity
that
I
was
have to
not
crush
blocked
you.
will do its damage to your opponent. Oh my goodness, opponent has cast a really big
That's
creature.
a big problem.
So I can still play my land for the turn.
That beast will destroy your creatures if you attack now.
And so now you have the option of continuing to attack, or you do have the option to not attack. So if I attack now, the Baloth will block probably my biggest creature, and it will die without doing any damage to my opponent, and without even killing my opponent's creature. So this is going to be a bad attack, because I will lose resources, aka my creatures, and my opponent will not. So in this case, it's often best to not attack and wait for your opponents to do
You've
something.
shown spirit, but I will show you strength.
Uh-oh. So my opponent has played a sorcery, which temporarily makes the Baloth stronger, and
Stand
now
your ground.
it is attacking.
One of your creatures can block it.
If I do not block this creature, it will kill me because I only have 7 life in this scenario, and it is going to deal 8 damage to me. I can block it with multiple creatures, so I could take both my creatures and block it. If I do that, the Baloth will do damage to both of my creatures however he wants to, so he can do 2 damage here, 2 damage here, and they would both die. So that would not be very good. But if I only block with 1, then the Baloth will deal all of its damage to my 1 creature, and then no damage to me. And if we notice, attacking has tapped my opponent's creature. A tapped creature cannot block, which means that I can attack in with my Loxodon Linebreaker to do at least 3 points of damage next turn, as long as I'm alive to have a next turn. So we'll go ahead and block with my 2/2. It will die, but nothing gets through because those 2 creatures fought instead of him coming
Take down
after
that
me.
beast while it's still recovering.
So here I have a sorcery. Sorcery is different than a creature, like we saw our opponent use last turn. A sorcery will have its effect on the board, and then it will go to the graveyard. So like the opponent used his sorcery to make his creature bigger, I have a sorcery that will destroy a tapped creature. Since the Baloth tapped to attack, I can now cast Take Vengeance and destroy that tapped creature.
You're not making this easy.
Since my opponent no longer has any creatures to retaliate with, I am free to attack with my Line Breaker.
We've got you cornered.
Cast the spell. Clear a path to finish her.
So here, generally you would not want to attack because one of their wardens would be able to block your Line Breaker and kill it, and then you would be left without any creatures and at the mercy of your opponent. Since this battle is scripted, Sparky drew us a Blinding Radiance. This is another sorcery that has a different effect. We have seen a sorcery pump a creature. We have seen a sorcery destroy a creature. This sorcery taps creatures. As we were talking about before, if a creature is tapped, it cannot block. So we'll cast Blinding Radiance, which taps these two creatures. As Arena is telling us, tapped creatures cannot block. So if we swing in with our Lockstone Line Breaker, opponent has no defenses, and we can win our match.
Well fought, outsider.
Ooh, shiny. You've unlocked a new card.
So after you win matches, you gain rewards. For our tutorial battles, these rewards are new cards that we can add to our collection and possibly even add to our decks if we wish to.
Yeah, good work back there.
So as
But
we
if you're
see,
going
that
to battle
card has now
another
gone into our
planeswalker,
deck.
you've got to be prepared for anything. I
And-
know a guy on Ravnica that can teach you everything you need to know about tactics.
We'll
Especially
move on
what
to match
not to
2.
do.
Hey, especially what not to do. This guy is apparently an avid watcher of my channel. He's probably subscribed, which you should do now.
Surprise attack! Yes, first blood. Woohoo!
Don't worry, these things are basically harmless.
So here our opponent has cast a Raging Goblin, which has the keyword haste. Haste basically means that a creature is not affected by summoning sickness. So like we saw in our last game with the Shrine Keepers, when you cast that, you can't attack immediately. Creatures with haste bypass that, and so
Okay, maybe worry just a little.
yeah, this is getting kind of all right.
Second blood.
And third blood
Alright.
technically, but
You
I
need
don't
to
think
mount a
that will
defense.
count. So here we're going to go ahead and cast our Shrine Keeper like we did last game. It is a 2/2, so it has 2 power, 2 toughness, which means that it can block one of these Raging Goblins. And the Goblin will do 1 damage to the Keeper, which will not kill it, but my Keeper will do 2 damage back to the Goblin, which will kill it. So we're only taking 2, we're thinning out my opponent's board.
I've got more where that came from.
And at the end of each turn, that damage goes away. So in some games, damage sticks on the creature. In Magic, that damage is healed at the end of every turn. So you don't have to worry about blocking little things because all that damage will get healed. So here we've got 2 different creatures. We've got our Shrine Keeper, we can pay 2, and our Cat, we can pay 1.
Your creatures aren't tough enough to survive being blocked. Hold them back.
So Sparky's saying that we should not attack, and I do agree. If we attack with the Shrine Keeper, the Bruiser is just going to kill it, because just like when we attacked the Raging Goblin, he has a higher toughness than our power, and so we will not be able to kill his creature. So we're going to go ahead and hold off on the defensive for now.
Everybody but me, charge!
I love that line. And now we can do something a little more interesting. So we can just block all 3 of them, but that does not kill his biggest threat. One thing that we can do is we can choose to let one of his little creatures go through, and we can double block his goblin bruiser. So at that point, he will kill our biggest creature, but we'll do 2 + 1, 3 damage back and kill his biggest creature. So sometimes that might be the best play. He can only do 3 damage, so he can only kill 1 of my creatures, since I have a combined defense of 4, but he gets to choose which creature dies. So like I said, he's probably going to kill our biggest one.
Hey, nobody kills my troops but me!
Had we blocked the other way, we could have kept both of our Shrine Keepers and lost our cat, but he would still have his 3. Opponent played a Goblin Grenade at this point, which sacrifices a Goblin to deal 5 damage, so our blocks didn't matter as much as I thought they would. We'll play our land, swing on in, do some damage, and see what
an army of
opponent's
expendable minions when you need one. Oh, here it is.
Alright, so he's got a 2/2, a bunch of 1/1s. And we are going to play our 5th land and cast Spiritual Guardian, which I believe is the card we got for winning the last match. This is a 3 power, 4 toughness, and when it enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life.
Nice defense. He'd be a fool to attack you now.
So like I said, we can attack in here. Chances are he will probably just block us out. Might kill some of our creatures, might kill some of his creatures. I think it's still best to stay on defense for right now and see what happens.
Never hold back. Never back down. Never walk barefoot in a goblin warren.
Very good advice. That last one, at least. Attacking here, maybe not so good advice. Because we do have better blocks than he does. As you can see, all of our creatures line up very well with all of his creatures. So he will lose all of his, we will lose none of ours. So maybe he shouldn't have attacked here.
It's time to bring the pain.
Opponent has
This
a
is going to
5
hurt.
power or 5 mana creature himself. Alrighty, so he has a 7 power, 3 toughness creature. We have seen that our opponent likes to just attack all out every turn. So it might be, if he continues that, he'll probably attack in. One of our guardians will trade with this. So honestly, an attack here isn't necessarily bad. But if we attack with our spiritual guardian, he will either block and his creature dies, or we'll do 3 damage. And if he attacks us with his 7/3, then we have another one that we can block with, so that way it still cancels out. So even though this looks like a bad attack because he can kill our creature, it's actually okay because we still have the defenses that we need if he attacks back in and does not block. So as we saw, he does not block, he does attack back in. So we'll go ahead and use our extra 3/4 to block it. And as I said, they will use their power
A
to
good
each other.
general knows
We won't
when
take
that
any
beats.
damage,
So you should
but they
probably
will
give up
kill
now.
each other. And now we see we have Take Vengeance, so even if we did not block that, we would still be able to kill it. This is a pretty key card. But because because of our attack last turn, our opponent is now in killable range. So if we go ahead and go to combat,
Have mercy on me, please.
we can swing everything, and that's it for our goblin friend.
It's the pokey bits that hurt the most.
Ooh, we get 2 new cards here. The Knight's Pledge is an enchantment, as is Angelic Reward, so I think I know what our next tutorial is going to be.
You're a quick learner, so let's try a more challenging lesson. Follow me to Ixalan. There's a mystic there who spent his life studying the nuances of combat. He might look like any other merfolk, but his knowledge is boundless. Stay patient and keep an open mind.
If it is wisdom you seek, I will teach you.
Ooh, alright, so opponent
Birds fly freely, unfettered by earthly bonds.
has cast a flying creature. Flying creatures cannot be blocked except by other flying creatures or creatures with an ability called Reach. So I can't block that. We'll go ahead and put our cat down so that at least we can
Everything is
mount
connected.
offense of our own.
You must understand the air, land, and sea.
Alright, so our opponent has
That
cast
bird can fly over any blockers on the ground.
an enchantment. So yep, like Sparky was saying, flying means that I can't block. An enchantment or an aura is a card that
All right, you give it a shot.
attaches to another creature, or any permanent. Actually, there are some that attach to artifacts or even players. But like I said, that's a little bit beyond the scope of this tutorial. So here we can make our planes, and we do have Knight's Pledge, the enchantment of our own. So we can cast this to enchant our cat. And as we see, our creature will gain
Good.
2
You've
power
been paying
and
attention.
toughness. So his only gives 1/1, ours gives 2/2. So we can now attack for 3. Now it's important to note that even though we can't block his flyers can block our ground
Obstacles may
troops.
block your path, but do not lose sight of your true goal.
Is that crab wearing a pirate hat?
So it looks like my only play here is to cast our Line Breaker. If I attack with my cat, he will block with his crab. And as we see, the crab has 4 defense. I only have a power of 3. So I will not be able to kill his crab, and all of that damage will heal at the end of the turn. So I will have accomplished absolutely nothing by attacking. So I think I just don't attack here and wait to see what else I draw. Unfortunately, this bird is
Battles
going to
ebb
keep
and
pecking
flow.
away. And he is going to tap down one of my creatures. So as we see, just like with
Keep going.
sorceries,
He's running out of cards.
enchantments have a variety of effects. Some of them can pump your creatures. Some, like Water Knot, can tap a creature down indefinitely. So I now cannot use my Loxodon Linebreaker until this enchantment goes away. And this enchantment will not go away on its own. There has to be a card that specifically destroys an enchantment. Or if the creature itself dies, then any enchantments that are on it will die with it. but we do have a second Knight's Pledge, so we will go ahead and cast this. And enchantments can be placed on any creatures, even creatures that are already enchanted. So enchantments do not knock themselves off, so this cat can take the Knight's Pledge twice, and it will gain +2 for each one. So now, my cat is big enough to kill his crab, since I have power of 5 with both of my enchantments. So an attack here is beneficial. I will either do 5 damage, which is a lot, or kill his crab. Either way, I am happy with the outcome of this combat. The opponent is still attacking
If
with
you
his
keep
bird.
to the shallows, you'll never learn the secrets of the depths.
Wow, that sounds deep.
Alright, an opponent has played the Divination sorcery to draw 2 cards. We see once again, these sorceries can have a variety of effects, but they have their effect and then they go to the graveyard. So here we have our Spiritual Guardian again. It does not fly, cannot block the bird, but gaining 4 life means that we have 2 extra turns of that bird pecking away before we die, so that is definitely beneficial. We'll go ahead and attack with our cat again, because once again, I'm okay with killing the crab, and if he doesn't block, he takes 5 damage. I'm okay with both of that. Oh my,
If you
that's
make
big.
big waves, do not blame the ocean when you get carried away.
His lessons are just so majestic.
Enchanted creature gains +3 and flying. Alright. So here we can put that on either our cat or our guardian. And so let's look at our opponent's board. He has a 4 power, 6 toughness creature, which cannot kill our cat, but our cat cannot kill it. It can kill our guardian, but our guardian cannot kill it. But if we do Angelic Reward, we can put that on either our cat or our guardian, and it will make them powerful enough to both kill and not get killed by this Pelagosaur. So the best play here would be to put it on the guardian. That way we have 2 things that can block and not die to the Pelagosaur. And now we have a decision to make. We can either attack with the guardian, which will cause it to tap and not be able to block, or we can not attack and wait and see if our opponent attacks into us. If they do, then we can decide on what blocks to make there. So this is entirely your decision, whether or not you want to be aggressive or not. The Spiritual Guardian does represent a 2-turn block, which means that this Guardian will kill my opponent in 2 turns. So if I attack with the Guardian now, when my opponent attacks back with both of his creatures, the cat can still block the Pelagosaur and not die. But if he attacks with the Zephyr Gull, then my Guardians will just be lethal on the next turn. So whether you want to be aggressive or defensive in this situation is entirely up to you. Something else to look at, the opponent currently has 6 power on board, which is not lethal since we have 9 life. So if he has another Water Knot to tap down my Sanctuary Cat to where it cannot block, I'm still not dead, and I still have the chance to kill him next turn with the Spiritual Guardian. So an attack here is iffy, but I think it is still acceptable. So my opponent is attacking with everything. I cannot block the Gull, but I can block the Pelagosaur. So we'll go ahead and prevent that damage from coming through.
The student is a river. The teacher is an ocean. The master is also an ocean.
Wait, what? That last one sounds a bit fishy.
Alright, so the
You know
opponent
what?
has another
The mystic I
Pelagosaur.
was thinking of isn't even a merfolk. So, I actually don't know who this guy is.
I apologize. It was just nice to have some company.
We should get going.
So we did draw a Knight's Pledge, but because this Gull is tapped out, we don't really need it. If anything, I would probably cast it on our cat again, so that when opponent does attack back with his Pelagosaurs, I can actually kill them now. But with the Guardian, opponent's dead anyway, so none of that really matters.
It was fun while it lasted.
Okay, and so now we unlock some new cards of type Instant, as we see here on the middle left. Tactical Advantage is an instant card. So let's learn about instants.
Okay, you're almost ready to take on anyone, including whoever roughed you up in the first place. For your last lesson, let's head to Tarkir to learn the art of surprise. Watch her every move and be ready for anything.
This opponent has spells
Oh,
that
what
can
pretty
be
little
cast
thing
on
has
my
wandered
turn.
into my web?
Alright, so we'll go ahead and use our planes. We'll go ahead and cast our cat. It's really the only thing we can do.
Go on, attack me.
Seems sus. Let's go ahead and cast our Shrine Keeper. And we'll go ahead and attack her.
This is my favorite part.
Our opponent casts an instant. So this card, Cruel Cut, is an instant that destroys target creature with power 2 or less, which is going to be my Sanctuary Cat because that's what's attacking me.
Don't let her get under your skin.
So as we
Your
see, an
move.
instant spell can be cast pretty much in response to anything. So always watch out when your opponent has mana open, because they might have an instant they're willing to cast to disrupt your combat, and that is called a combat trick. So we'll go ahead and attack, and she has a flash creature. Flash on a creature or artifact or other permanent is the same as instant. It means that this creature can be cast at instant speed. So that's a little unfortunate. She can flash in this creature in order to block with. But since it's only a
See that coming?
1 toughness creature, it dies too, so it was pretty much the same thing as the removal spell that they cast last turn. So knowing that opponent does have a spell that can kill a creature with power 2 or greater, and a creature that of 2 power that can flash in, we can go ahead and Knight's Pledge the Shrine Keeper, make it a 4/4 so that it can survive either one of those combat tricks. As we see, she can flash in the Pilferer to block, which does not kill it. And in response to the block, she can sacrifice her creature to draw 2 cards. Now, because the Shrine
Don't even get
Keeper
a hit in.
was blocked, no damage is done to your
Waiting
opponent,
for this.
even though that creature is no longer there when combat damage is dealt. Ooh, that hurt. When Rakshasa cannot block, when it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target opponent for each swamp you control. Alright, so that is a 5 power, 5 toughness creature.
Careful. You can't afford to take another hit like that.
And so we have an instant to where target blocking or blocked creature gains +2 until end of turn. So we can attack here, except the Rakshasa cannot block, which means that it's going to attack us back next turn, deal 5 damage, and kill us. So we have to hold back, stop attacking, and keep our keeper back to block. Once we do block, we can use tactical advantage to give him +2 to where he would actually be a 6 power, 6 toughness creature and able to withstand combat. So that is our plan for next turn. And it's always important to plan for next turn. Like right now, he can't block my 4/4. Attacking with the 4/4, I can do 4 damage. I can push my advantage. I can absolutely do that. And right now, in the moment, that sounds like a good thing to do. But then if I do that, next turn, I will die to my opponent's attack. So it's always important to plan out not only your next turn, but your opponent's next turn as well.
Block first. Then it's time for some trickery of your own.
So our opponent goes to combat. He attacks with his Rakshasa. We can declare a block here with the Shrine Keeper. So we'll go down here and confirm that, yes, I am blocking with my one
Cast it
creature.
now.
And now I can take my tactical advantage, and we can cast that on our Shrine Keeper, make it a 6 power creature to survive combat.
Very clever.
We have seen flash from our opponent. We have not seen any haste. If he has another Rakshasa, we're dead anyway. So we really can't afford to play around that. So we just have to be on the aggressive here. We'll go ahead and attack in. And she's flashing in
You've fallen right
2
into
Nimble
my trap.
Pilferers.
Get ready.
So as we saw before with our Goblin opponent, 2 creatures can block the same attacker. So in this case, these 2 creatures would deal a total of 4 damage to my Shrine Keeper and it would die. Or I can use tactical advantage to give target blocked creature +2/+2 so that it can survive this combat as well.
I can respect that. I've got nothing, really. I'm at your mercy.
Somehow I don't believe that. So confront the assault says to cast only if a creature is attacking you. So I can't cast that now. So we'll just go ahead and go to combat. We'll go ahead and attack for 4.
Well, looks like you've let your guard down.
And so now my opponent is casting these flash creatures again. It's important to note that Summoning
it's
Sickness
my turn.
goes away at the start of your turn. So
Make some blockers.
even though she did just cast these creatures, because of the flash, she cast them on my turn. So now on her turn, they are no longer affected by Summoning Sickness and can attack me directly. But now that they are attacking, I can confront the assault, make 3 spirits, which is an oddly specific number since they just put in 3 attackers. It's almost like this battle is scripted somehow. So we'll go ahead and make these blocks. Our 1/1 will
why won't
destroy
you
her
die?
2/1s.
Now you've got her.
And we just so happen to draw an enchantment that will boost Shrine Keeper's power even more. Because at 4 damage, she's not dead yet. but at 7 damage, that is lethal.
I'll be in touch.
And we unlock our final 2 cards with Inspiring Commander and Sarah Angel. So those are going to go into our deck now.
Nice
And we'll
job.
go on to our final
That was
opponent.
some quick thinking. When we first met, you looked within an inch of your life. But now you're unstoppable. Who were you fighting in the first place, anyway?
Nicole Bolas. After I annihilated you, I really didn't expect to see you again.
What? This is a terrible idea. There's no way you're prepared for this guy.
Well, we'd better be, because play is our only option.
I'll make a deal with you, Planeswalker. Defeat me, and I'll let you go. Lose, and you will serve me for eternity.
Fight as if your life depended on it.
Well, I don't have any creatures I can play on 1, but I do have the instant tactical advantage.
Sometimes you need to make a tough decision.
Alright, so here we can discard one of our cards. Our biggest or most expensive card is the Loxodon Linebreaker, which requires 3 mana to cast. So we already have 1 Plains in play, plus 3 more in hand makes 4. So we actually do have an extra Plains that we can discard. So we'll go ahead, select that, and submit. So we will discard a Plains.
Did he just throw away a dragon?
You look surprised. I do as I choose with what is mine, and it is all mine.
Okay, I kind of regret that now because we have a 5-drop, and I don't have 5 mana. Maybe we'll draw it. Hopefully we'll draw it. For now, we'll go ahead and play our Shrine Keeper, which he will destroy.
Everything here exists or perishes at my whim.
Well, that sucked. Alrighty, time for Linebreaker. Hopefully that doesn't die immediately.
Power is the only thing that matters. There is nothing else.
Alright, so his sorcery here is to draw 3 cards, but to do so, he loses 3 life. So, that's typical black for you. Power at all costs. So I can attack, or I can wait. It looks like he did not attack me, so I think if I wait until I get some bigger stuff on the field, I would rather keep him back to stop my opponent from attacking. I think we just kind of play the long game here.
I will let nothing stand in the way of what I seek. Not even death.
Put target creature from, a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and it is a zombie. He did just throw away a dragon last turn, so yup, that is going to hurt. So I think we make the block here. We'll use our tactical advantage so that my creature doesn't die. Oh, thank goodness we drew our 5th Plains. So we can cast Spiritual Guardian. It can't block the dragon, but it can undo the damage that it did. Our Loxodon cannot block the dragon either, so keeping him back on defense is kind of silly. So we'll go ahead and do what damage we can while we can do it.
Enough of this.
double cast. When you cast your next instant or sorcery, copy that spell. Uh-oh. This sounds troublesome. Seismic Rupture. Deal 2 damage to each creature without flying. Alright, well, that's what we call a board wipe. He just wiped my entire board. I have nothing left. So hopefully this commander can inspire something. Yeah, I still can't block a flyer. And he draws an entire new hand. Alright. You go, Bolus.
My triumph is at hand.
Lonely Shrine Keeper, nothing really to do. But keep attacking. Where'd that come from? Whenever a creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield, gain 1 life and draw a card. So Shrine Keeper was power 2 or less, so I drew another Shrine Keeper. So we'll cast that, gain 1 life, draw 1 card.
We just might be able to pull this off.
Take Vengeance is that sorcery we saw that destroys a tapped creature. We can finally get rid of that dragon.
No matter. Soon there will be nothing left of you either.
There's no reason to keep him back on defense, so we'll do what damage we can.
Hey!
All succumb to Bolas.
That wasn't exactly a board wipe, but I mean, it still was pretty good. Well, I don't do anything here, so yeah, well, if I attack,
so
he'll
you
just
can
kill
prepare
me.
for his attack.
So I don't attack here. All right, he's got another dragon. So we're going to go ahead and cast Confront the Assault, create 3 spirit tokens with flying, so I can block the dragon and the Chaos Maw. But most importantly, when these creatures enter the battlefield,
What?
our Inspiring Commander will trigger for each one, and I'll gain 3 life and draw 3 cards.
I've underestimated you.
So here Arena is giving us the tip that we may want to block the dragon with multiple creatures and cards. So we're going to go ahead and put 1 in front of the Chaos Maw to stop its damage completely. We'll put 2 in front of the Volcanic Dragon. So we'll confirm all 3 blockers, and because we drew a tactical advantage, we can pump up 1 of our flyers into a 3/3 to take the dragon out.
Congratulations. You're actually beginning to irritate me.
I still don't have a plan for the Chaos Maw, though.
Such impudence.
So the cat will bring a Sarah Angel. 4/4 Flying Vigilance. Alright, I do like that.
Yeah!
Vigilance is a new keyword,
An angel.
which means that it
Do you
does
really
not
think
tap
a mere angel will stop me?
when it attacks.
My power is beyond that of a god.
So I could attack with the Angel and still keep it back to block with. Except it does still have Summoning Sickness, so I still can't attack with it this turn. I'm not going to be attacking with my commander. I'm not going to be blocking with my commander, so I might as well attack with it. Every point of damage matters. And see, he just killed it, so... Oh my goodness. So here I can block with my Angel. I can use Tactical Advantage to kill the Chaos Maw, but that does not keep my Angel from dying. Arena is telling us that we might want to keep our angel alive because, like we said with that vigilance, it can attack and still defend. So we're going to go ahead and sacrifice our cat to the Chaos Maw. We're not going to use our advantage here because the cat isn't going to kill the Chaos Maw anyway.
We've come this far, don't give up now.
So I suppose we can cast Angelic Reward on the Sarah Angel. The +3 will, I mean, the flying is redundant because it already has flying. But the +3 means that the Chaos Maw will not kill it. The Vigilance means that I can attack without tapping it, so I can still block with the Angel.
Thin. Let's finish it.
So as we were saying earlier with combat tricks, and we saw with our last opponent, Nicol Bolas might have some instance that he can use. So if we block the Chaos Maw, he might have a spell that ups its power or toughness by 1, which would be enough to kill our Angel. So a safer block might be on the Renegade Demon. But we do have tactical advantage. So even if he does have some kind of buff to Chaos Maw, I think we're still okay. So this is really up to you on how interactive you think your opponent is. If you think they have a combat trick, you might want to block the second biggest threat. If you think they don't have a combat trick, then go ahead and block the first one. Looks like there was no combat trick here, so we did not need our tactical advantage. We'll go ahead and drop Spiritual Guardian, but he has no flyers to block our Angel, so it looks like...
Ah, I'm impressed.
And there you go!
Woohoo! That dragon better think twice before he tries messing with you again.
So now we unlock basic starter decks. So there is one starter deck for each color. And so you can go through the different colors and see we've been playing Keep the Peace. We've been playing our white deck. And so then you can go through and play as blue mage, black, red, and green, and kind of see how those different colors play and interact. But we'll get to that in the next video. So that's the basic tutorial for Magic Arena. If you're having trouble understanding or completing the tutorial, then I hope this video has helped you. If so, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel for more of this content. And leave a comment below as to what you were struggling with, what questions you might still have, and feel free to check out my Magic Concepts series. It does have a lot more in-depth strategies and tips on playing Magic the Gathering. So feel free to check that out as well. And I'll see y'all in the next video.